Oh, yes, is he pretty? Oh my God, look at her come running. Your girlfriend thinks you look cute, Artax. Hi, I'm Michelle from Unicorn and Centaur, and in today's video I am going to show you how I dyed my horse's mane and tail purple with Arctic Fox semi-permanent hair dye. This video is part 3 in a series on dyeing your horse's mane and tail. Part 1 details my attempt at dyeing my horse Artax's mane and tail with Opaw's Pet Safe semi-permanent dye. I will leave a link right up here for you to click on if you missed that video. It pretty much goes through the entire first time process of dyeing a horse's mane and tail. The second video in the series was how to get the dye out of your horse's mane and tail. The Opaw's dye was wonderfully long lasting, but I needed to try a removal method. I tried the vitamin C method, which is mixing dandruff shampoo with vitamin C powder, and if you missed that one, I will leave a link up here so you can click and watch that one as well. Now in this video, part 3, we are exploring a different brand of dye. Today we're trying Arctic Fox semi-permanent hair dye. Unlike Opaw's, Arctic Fox is not formulated for animals, it is made for humans. But there are lots of extra equestrians who swear by Arctic Fox products, so I thought I should give it a try and let you guys know my experience. It's actually the brand I have on my own hair right now. I am not a natural teal, don't tell anybody, shh. So a couple of months ago, I ordered some for Artax. Side note, I ordered one bottle of Arctic Fox, 1 8-ounce bottle, I believe, of Arctic Fox dye, and I realized that would not be enough, so I ordered a second bottle. I did not notice that each order was for a different shade of purple. I finally noticed this when I was finished with the first bottle and was halfway through the tail. My point is, don't be like me if you're going to order some hair dye, double check, make sure you have the right shade. I really wanted this video to be a comparison of how the Opaw's dye worked compared to the Arctic Fox. But if I'm being fair, I'm not really starting in the same place with both products. With Opaw's, I started with virgin hair that had never been processed and had a yellow tone to it, especially in some places. With the Arctic Fox, now the hair had already been processed, and despite my best efforts, there were still pink tones in many places in the mane and tail. Also, my technique changed. I didn't do foils this time. Last time, I wrapped each section in foils, but that was hard. I needed Liam's help to get it done. This time, I did the technique that I talked about but didn't do in the first one, which was to wear several layers of rubber gloves, and then when you're finished saturating a section of hair with dye, you pull the glove inside out over the section and clip it with a plastic butterfly clip. This, along with the flat bottom bottle design, made it possible for me to set it down between sections and to do the whole process myself. Wash, brush, and section off the hair into little rubber bands. Put show sheen or conditioner on your horse's neck underneath the mane and on the butt underneath the sides of the tail. This is to help keep the dye from bleeding onto the coat. Apply the dye and fully saturate each section. You can see there are spots near the roots that I missed. Don't be like me, get that dye all in there. Once you're all clipped up and processing, just sit and hang out for 45 minutes. I fed Artax treats and groomed him and just kind of hung out with him. When you can't wait any longer, it's time to rinse. Rinse until the water runs clear and use a soapy sponge to scrub away any drips and smears on the coat underneath. I am in love with the Purple Rain shade. It is so gorgeous, and that is exactly the blue-based purple shade that I was looking for when I started this whole thing. The consistency of the Arctic Fox dye is a lot thicker than the Opaw's dye, and I really prefer the thicker texture, honestly. It made it easier for me to apply, and I was able to go much faster than I was with the Opaw's. I used about 1.5 8-ounce bottles of Arctic Fox dye, whereas I used 3 full 5-ounce bottles of Opaw's dye. I think it was roughly the same amount. I probably used a little bit less of the Arctic Fox. Now here's the thing though. I've already seen the Arctic Fox dye start to bleed onto Artax's coat. As a matter of fact, staining and bleeding are the biggest problems I personally have with this brand. Like I said, I use it on my own hair, and if I sweat during the night, I wake up with blue ears and neck. If I finger comb through my hair, blue fingertips. As I rinsed Artax, I noticed a faint purple cast to his shoulder and his leg on the side that I was rinsing. And now I just did this to him yesterday, so I'm gonna go back, not tomorrow, but the day after tomorrow, I'm gonna go in and check out the 3-day progress. What does it look like after being 3 days in the sun? How much bleeding are we talking about, if any? And how much fading have we got going on? I will do the 3-day update, which I will insert here. It's 3 days after application, and it still looks really bright, really vibrant. We've got some color rubbing off right there on the butt. So there's some staining and bleeding there on the butt. The whole underside of his neck is purple. But otherwise it's really pretty. I have not washed it or treated it or tried to get the color out. This is after 3 days. So that was my experience dyeing my horse's mane and tail with Arctic Fox semi-permanent dye. This video is not sponsored, by the way. I probably should have said that at the beginning. Nobody sponsored this. I actually spent my money on this stuff. These are all my opinions. There's no paid or advertised content in there. I do have plans for future videos in this series. Manic Panic is another popular dye choice, and I really want to try that out. Maybe on Sunny, because I also want to see what these dyes look like on a darker horse's mane and tail. So I'm going to be experimenting and dyeing. I've also got 2 different ideas for cheaper DIY ways to get these bright colors in your horse's mane and tail. So, hey, leave a comment. Would you rather see the DIY one next or the Manic Panic one next? DIY or Manic Panic? Leave me a comment and let me know. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss any of that.